3.2 Angle of elevation and depression notes.
So the objectives are to learn and define the use of angle of elevation and depression to solve real-world problems. So the picture shows from a horizontal, which means eye level, you're looking up at a plane, which would be at a certain amount of elevation.
Steps to solve trigonometric application problems. Step 1. Draw a picture based on the given information on the problem. Step 2. Identify missing information needed to solve problem. Step 3. Use SOHCAHTOA or Pythagorean theorem to solve the problem. A nursery plants a new tree and attaches a guy wire to help support the tree while its roots take hold. An 8-foot wire is attached to the tree and to a stake in the ground. From the stake in the ground, the angle of elevation of the connection with the tree is 42 degrees. Find the height of the connection point on the tree. Step 1, you need to draw your picture based on the problem. Step 2, you need to fill in the given information and what you need to find. So in this problem, you're going to use SOHCAHTOA and not the Pythagorean theorem. You're going to use sine because from your angle you have your opposite and your hypotenuse. And you're going to do sine of 42 degrees equals x over 8. You're going to cross multiply, and it's 8 sine of 42 equals x. When you put that in your calculator, it's going to equal x equals 5.35, and then you just round it to the nearest tenth. Problem 2. Find the shadow cast by a 10-foot lamppost when the angle of elevation of the sun is 58 degrees. So for your first step, you're going to draw your triangle and draw what's given. So your height is 10 and your angle is 58 degrees. For your second step, you need to identify the missing information that's needed to solve the problem, which is x. For your third step, to solve the problem, you're going to use SOHCAHTOA. Because of where your angle is placed, you have your opposite and your adjacent, so that means you're going to use tangent. Tan of 58 equals 10 over x. You're going to cross multiply, that makes it x tan of 58 equals 10. You need x to be by itself, so you're going to divide by tan of 58 on each side. When you put that into your calculator, you should get x equals 6.24. When you round to the nearest tenth, it's going to be x equals 6.2. Problem 3. A radio station tower was built in 2 sections. From a point 87 feet from the base of the tower, the angle of elevation of the top of the first section is 25 degrees, and the angle of elevation of the top of the second section is 40 degrees. What is the height from the top section of the tower? So to do this, you follow your steps, and the first step is to draw a picture based on the information. In the problem, there was 2 triangles, so you draw a big triangle, and then off of the big triangle, you draw a second triangle. You also have to identify the missing side, which would be this side, because that's the height of the second section, and then you fill in the information that it gave you. So the base was 87 feet, and from the large triangle, it's 40 degrees, and the small triangle, we'll put it out here, is 25. So you want to do the large triangle first. So you go from your angle and you have your opposite and your adjacent, so you're going to use tan of 40 equals b over 87. multiply, and you do 87 tan of 40 equals B. And after you put that on your calculator, it should be 73 equals B. So when you do the smaller triangle, it's the same thing. You have your opposite and your adjacent, so you're going to do tan of 25 equals A over 87. You multiply again, you're going to do 87 tan of 25 equals A. And when you put that in your calculator, it should be A equals 40.56. And that's really going to equal 40.6. And that's your angle.
The downwards angle from an observer's point on the horizontal to another point of interest is called the angle of depression. Problem 1. From the top of a fire tower, a forest ranger sees his partner on the ground at an angle of depression of 40 degrees. If the tower is 40 feet in height, how far is the partner from the base of the tower?
So to do this first problem, you follow your steps, and the first step is to draw a triangle based on the picture and fill in the information that was given to you, which is the height is 45 and your angle of depression is 40 degrees. Then you fill in the side that's missing, which is your base. And to solve this, you look from your angle and you have your opposite and your adjacent. So you're going to use tan of 40 equals 45 over x. Cross multiply makes it x tan of 40 equals 45. You want x to be by itself, so you divide by tan of 40 on each side. When you put that in your calculator, it should be x equals 53.6, which you can round up to x equals 54.
Problem 2. From the top of a 35-meter cliff, Lori spots a hiker at an angle of depression of 62 degrees. What is the ground distance from Lori to the hiker?
Start by drawing a triangle based on the problem and fill in the information that's given, which is 62 degrees and your height, which is 35. Then you figure out the side that you have to be solving for, which is your hypotenuse. And then to solve, you look from your angle and you have your opposite and your hypotenuse, so you use sine of 62 degrees equals 35 over x. When you cross multiply, it's going to be x sine of 62 equals 35. You want x to be by itself, so you divide by sine of 62 on each side. When you put that in your calculator, it should be x equals 39.63.
Problem 3. The angle of depression of a vehicle on the ground from the top of a tower is 60 degrees. If the vehicle is at a distance of 100 meters away from the building, find the height of the tower.
To start, again, draw your triangle based on the picture and fill in your missing information. For this one, it's a lot easier if you label the corners of the triangle. It makes it a lot easier to solve. So that's how we're going to label that. And the information that's already given is this is 100 and this is 60 because this is 60. The side that you're trying to find is your height. So that's x. Now you're going to look again from your angle and you have your opposite and adjacent. So you're going to use tan of 60 equals your height over 100. Cross multiply, it's just going to be 100 tan of 60 equals h. And when you put that in your calculator, it's going to equal 173.2. So your height is 173.2.